Assault! Assault!
Oh, that timing. Hey Joseph, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome everyone. I'm literally just about to start.
Hello there. It's you.
Thank you. Similar to something like Inigo. Amada, Mystic, Lupo Jeff, and Cthulin. Thank you very much for the follow. Check, thank you very much as well. We're gonna be working on a mod ourselves as well, which is called Skyblivion, which is a remake of Skyrim. In the okay, I'm just gonna stop the music because it's easier to talk this way. Hello, hi. Yeah, we're gonna be working on Skyblivion. Let me change that lighting because I was trying it out and it's very strange. Okay, there, better. Right, so a remake of Oblivion in the Skyrim engine, that's kind of our goal. Very different from Lucian, but hopefully just as enjoyable, and who knows, maybe we'll get some compatibility mod update for Lucian. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm gonna be checking out a different part of the creation kit, the modding tool used to make Skyrim with. We're gonna be doing some landscaping. Essentially, we're gonna be building the world map. A lot of this work has already been done. Today's stream will be focused on. I'll get to you in a second. Thank you very much. Most of the work today will focus on. What would you call that? Doing a detail pass, making sure everything is tip-top in order. And yeah, it's basically it's the difference between this cell, which the world or the land mesh data has the right shape, but it doesn't have all the details of these ones. For instance, there's not enough bushes, there's not enough rocks, there's not enough, little bits and bobs to make it feel realistic. So that's what we're going to be doing. Having that said, Amada Hawk, thank you very much for the Prime. Very kind of you to drop that here with us, so appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy the emotes. Tobiasa, thank you for the follow as well. I missed you. Let me catch up with the chat too. Hey Proman, hey FaZe, Driver, Slades, Glitz, Hannah, Rose.
Hello there.
Omega. Amada, welcome as well. Mystic, welcome. Rainstorm, welcome. Pelzer, Lupo Jeff, Cthulin, Vague.
Wonderful celebration. Cheese for everyone.
I'm gonna finish my list here first, otherwise I'm gonna get confused. Min, hello. Slade, how's it going? Did I already get you? I don't remember.
A celebration.
It's 2022.
Tobiasa, hello. Hell yeah, I pronounced it right. That's what the stream is all about. Properly pronouncing usernames. Okay, I think that was everyone. Thank you very much for joining me, everyone. Welcome. Amada, thank you very, very much for that very generous gift bomb. That is very, very generous of you and very kind. Oh yeah, can we spam some hearts or spam some cheese in the chat? That's very, very cool.
Cheese for everyone.
Is that two? Is that twice? All right. More cheese, I guess. That's insane. Mata just gifted 20 subs on another stream too.
Wonderful.
Boss Energy. Christ.
Cheese for everyone.
Sights, dudes. You've gifted 76 subs in total in this channel. That's insane. Guys. That's very, very kind of all of you. Also, don't want to skip out Pluden, who resubscribed for 5 months. Very, very cool, everyone. Cheers. Haven't even done anything yet. Just gonna spam some sweet rolls and cheese. Okay, should we maybe also get started, or?
You think that's funny?
Uncle Shio approved. Rebel Z's heart trippy.
Oh, good choice.
A rainstorm on top of that as well, for continuing the gift sub from Pelzer. Good time we have. Ah, cheers, man. Well, in that case, let me show you really quickly what I've been working on today. This was done.
Cheese for everyone.
Maybe we should just pause the stream for a little bit. I'll come back later, okay? How does that sound? I did remember something I forgot. Yeah, this one is floating. Haha. Oop. Well then.
Thank you.
Poor Kyle. Lol.
Got my Christmas bonus and I'm gonna gift on people. Well, speaking from just my perspective, I'm sure they really appreciate it. But I hope you get yourself something nice too. Don't forget to neglect yourself, you know? But thank you very much. You did? Okay, good. Good. Right. Yeah, let me quickly show you this. So, off stream today, I worked on this little bit, which is the mountain path leading up to one of the castles high up into the Colovian Highlands. Surprisingly, quite a lot of work. Really, another one? Alright. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that the train is way past the station, fellas. I think we're good. We're there. We're past. Yeah, so I created the mountain path up until here.
Looks just lovely. Rebel Z's cheese.
Thank you. I feel a bit bad. I thought this was going to be a very boring area to work on stream.
For a celebration.
Okay.
Greetings.
And Anonymous also jumping on top with a gift to Kira. Kenken, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. What was I saying? Right, yeah, I thought this was going to be a very boring thing to work on, so I did it off stream so you guys wouldn't have to watch me do this. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. Like, this is a proper mountain range, and at the very tippy top...
boring.
You say that, but at the tippy top we have this castle here.
Let's motherfucking go glitch cat.
Yeah, let's.
Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.
No chill chat Rebel Z's pog.
Yeah, it's been. I'm blaming Joseph for this. Hey, Ravana, jeez. Hello, Blast from the Past. I'm not gonna take credit for the castle. This was Clef's work. Clef J made the castle. I'm just gonna be tidying it up a bit. But yeah, the castle is what you can find at the tippy top of the mountain.
Keep doing the good work and make Skyblivion a reality, hopefully sooner than later.
Hopefully, that's the dream. That's the goal. I worked up until this part. The rest I haven't tweaked and touched yet. So I can only take credit for everything here in this area. Kimp, thank you for the follow. Slade, Burgundy Bagel, Henna, Faintum, Pelzer. Thank you as well. I need a drink after that. Hey Slacks, when will Skyblivion release? That's the question, isn't it? The $1 million question. Simple answer: if I knew, I would have told you. Hey Makey, cool Liz emotes. I like your channel a lot. Yeah, if I had a release date, if I had the slightest idea of when a release could potentially happen, you can trust me that I would have shared this with you. It's not like I enjoy keeping these kinds of secrets from you people. You've been waiting a long time on the project. We've been working on it for a long time as well. So yeah, trust me when I say that we want it out as soon as possible. Probably even more so than you folks. The problem is that working on a volunteer project like this, one, takes a lot of time from those who come from Russell. You know, he's been working on his mod for a few years. To be fair, his one is actually released. Ours has not, but that's also for different reasons. We have a legal obligation to Bethesda. We have to conform to certain criteria in order to release Skyblivion. We cannot use or we cannot upload the mod with ported assets, which we have right now. So, you know, as much as we would like to release it, we need to make sure that everything in the backend is in order and we're not doing anything to upset the fine folks at Bethesda, because that would be a shame if that were the case, and they would then be in their right to shut us down, which we also don't want. So we just want to make sure we abide by the rules set to us, or set for us, and yeah, and Microsoft by extension now as well. I do promise you that we're working as hard as we can, though. But yeah, everyone wants this out ASAP. But that's why we can't really give you a release date. You know, I work full time. It's currently 8:30 p.m.
It just works.
I've finished work and I've had my dinner, and now I have time for Skyblivion. Right, so I do try to put as much time into the project as I can. So do the rest of the people on the team. But at the end of the day, it's still something that all of us do on the side. It's not something we do, you know, as a full-time hobby, quote unquote. So I hope that explains that a little bit. I need to create some new assets really quickly. Here's a fun little thing you can do in the creation kits. You can do this in all engines, as far as I'm aware of anyway. We have this asset here, mountain trim, it's called. And I have one with the moss texture, but I need one with the grass, because I'm creating a valley in which I want to distinguish the valley from the mountain. In the mountain we have all the moss, which also has grass growing on it, but in the valley we have this more lush and green grass as the ground texture, which has a distinct grass texture on it as well, which has some flowers in it, and it looks a bit nicer, more serene. But we need to have an asset, this mountain trim, with a corresponding ground texture, landscape texture, to fit the one we've been using. So what we do is in the left window we make a duplicate of the item we already had, the moss one. I'm gonna rename it grass. And I'm gonna retexture it. Before I do, I need to quickly check what the name is of this texture. Something dirt. Terrain, dirt, grass, 01. Okay. Dirt, grass, 01 should be enough to identify it. We're gonna edit the NIF. I'm gonna quickly show you my desktop, because I don't have the windows open for this. Okay. Dirt, grass. Now we have it. CH, which stands for Colovian Highlands, the region we're currently working in. We've named all our textures specifically to have the first two letters of the biome you're working in, so it's easier to find them and identify them, as is the case with this. We also have a texture for Mania, Shivering Isles DLC, though we're not working on that at the moment. We do have some assets for it, but we're not working on that, so so like that.
You think that's
okay.
funny?
Okay.
Kyle, which cell did you mean? I'll be here a bit waiting for your answer before I delve back into Witcher.
No worries. Let's see, where is it? There it is. So now we have this texture, or this asset, which uses the same texture as we have on the ground here. So when we put this down, when we merge into the ground, it blends a lot nicer. Now, the way I try to make these areas is by pulling the land mesh up, so all you see sticking out are the assets that have some depth to them, kind of like that. But in the case that the creation kit is not 100% accurate with how it looks in game, and there is some landscape texture sticking out, at least you won't notice it. So that's why you do that. Caro, to answer. No, you're not interrupting anything. Caro, for those who don't know, is actually on the team. What cell did I think it's around this cave. Oh yeah, it's around the big lake. I needed to rework the lake, and the water textures are slightly overlapping, and we have this huge height difference, so I need to slope it down. But I'm gonna need to use some terrain of this cell, and probably here as well. I also have this cave. I think this cave is in my claim, but then these two cells aren't, which is very odd to work with. But I have this huge mountain foot here, and yeah, I think I'm gonna need a bit of space to make that slope. This is something wind something cave. Wind cave. I'm a genius. Huge sacrifice of one's spare time when you work full time. It's exhausting. It can be, yeah, for sure. I think I get a lot of energy from working this project, though. It's something I actually enjoy. You know, my job is my job, but my hobby is something I actively enjoy putting time into, so it makes it less demanding, I think, in that way. And it doesn't really make me feel like I am sacrificing free time, but it's free time that I otherwise would have.
Hello Kyle, I'm so sorry I haven't been able to join chat for months. Had a lot of personal stuff going on. How are you doing and what are we working on ATM? Rebel Z's Heart Trippy.
Rebel Z's Heart Trippy back. Maybe we can get some Rebel Z's Heart Trippies in the chat from Maverick then. Be nice to see some spam of that. Cheers, dude, and I hope you're doing better. I'm sitting on a ball as well. You're new. You haven't been here in a few months. So last week I bought a Skippy ball to sit on. So I'm a bouncy rebel now. Yeah, I hope things are better. But yeah, you've been missing chat. Thank you for the tier 3, by the way. That's insane. I think you might be the only tier 3 at the moment. Hey, Trait, how's it going?
Thank you.
Good evening, Rebel Z's Heart Trippy.
Always wasting time. Good evening. I feel like I keep forgetting what I'm talking about. Maybe it wasn't important. Probably wasn't. Was there a question? Yeah, if you've already worked on that, or if you left the space open, because usually we keep a line of cells in between two claims, so there's like some spare wiggle room. But if I'm gonna do this area right here, I'm gonna need that wiggle room. Oh, shoot. Okay. Alright. Is it safe to work on my cells? Because that's what I wanted to work on today, is the entire valley. Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Because I've done quite a lot of work today. I've redone the mountain range here. Off stream. Okay. Yeah, I have your ESP. I think. No, I couldn't tell if it was actually anything done to the mountain area over there. But it's fine. It's fine. I can redo it. Sick as fuck. We'll get better. Wow, that sounded super bitchy, by the way. Didn't mean it like that. It's fine. We'll continue focusing on.
Time for a celebration!
Have you ever had a dream that you had, you could, you'll do, you wants, you could do so, you'll do, you could, you want them to do you so much you could do anything?
What? Have you ever had a dream that you had? Old meme? Okay. Apparently too old for me. Yeah, I have no idea what just happened, but looks like a couple of people in the chat recognize it, so that's good. Might even make it better, because I have no idea what's going on. I don't get it. I feel very left out. Have I missed any notifications? Yeah, but back on the cells thing, Kara, I was not given the memo that I couldn't work on these cells. I've just been going off of the claim sheet that Ludist made. Would you be able to? Yeah, I can. Would you be able to give me like a small map and highlight the cells that you've worked on? Because I'm going off of the clay map, so that might be causing trouble. Like for instance, this one, maybe this one was also in an area you already worked on. I'm not sure. For now, I'll do the area until the shrine, and then I'll move back up into the mountains. All good. Was actually wondering how these kind of merges will be handled. Yeah, unfortunately we don't have fancy version control. It's the creation kit that we're working with in the end. So what we have to do is we have to hand in our plugins at a specific point in time, hopefully somewhere this month, and then we create a new master file. Basically, we put all the data into one big file, and that's what we redistribute to the rest of the team, and that's where everyone works off of, because that means your current progress will be saved.
Don't let the distract you from the fact that in 1998, The Undertaker threw mankind off hell in a cell, and plummeted 16 feet through an announcer's table.
What? There's another thing I'm not getting. I think this is another one I don't get. Wrestling match? What the fuck are you guys talking about? Am I really that out of the loop? I thought it was woke. I thought it was I was dope. That was cool. I sent you the pic. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, let me compare that to mine. Okay, so essentially all your cells have been worked on. Okay, so I need to be very careful then. Alright. Because Fort Derich should be well within my claim. But maybe because of the Sanguine Shrine, those two do overlap a little bit. Or at least the tips. The tips touch. So that was probably it then. Yeah, no worries. I might have to skip. Sorry, this is for anyone who's watching, and this is a conversation, like a separate conversation. I might actually go and start doing some work in the top half of the Colovian Highlands, because then I have more width. Because I finished the long parts of the bottom of area 2, so the middle part where I come very close to your border all the time is where I'm at now. So it might just be better to move on in a little bit to something else. But okay, anyway, by the by. Hi chat, how's everyone doing? Yeah, it works for me, Carl. Do not sweat that you don't know about a couple of old memes. Yeah, it's more my pride. You know, I thought I was really, you know, with it. Thought I was kept up to date with the young kids memes, but looks like the educational system's let me down. No need to feel bad at all, of course. It's all good. The work I've done should be shouldn't take me more than a day to get back, so it's all good.
Thank you.
Kyle, Magikeen Knuffel of Wilgerine.
Actually, that sounded pretty damn good. I'm very proud of the bot. I think the bot has been listening to the Dutch lessons as well. For those who don't know, I'm Dutch, and Burgundy Bagel just asked in Dutch, can I have a hug, or do you want one? And I'm just a bit surprised by how accurate the bot was able to say that sentence, even though he's set to English. He legit sounds like someone who is speaking Dutch but is really English. Or I guess American. Technology, folks. I'm glad that anyone remembered that in 1989 or 98. Yeah, I'm gonna need a link to that meme or whatever that is, because I feel like this is... It's gonna bite me in the ass later. Does the Dutch lockdown affect your everyday job, and do you desperately want a haircut? Maybe try long hair. It doesn't affect my job at all, because I work remote anyway. I work for a company in Germany, and I was supposed to move to Germany, but that move ended up, ended up not happening, So my day job is 100% unaffected. My hair, as you may have noticed, is affected though. It's quite long. I don't really like long hair though, and the simple reason for that is because my hair is really thick. You can't really tell, but there's a lot of that on my scalp. And it gets, especially during summer, it's really warm. It's like wearing a hat, and yeah, I don't know, just not a fan. I can say it's so heavy that you actually feel it and it gets annoying, but I do always feel my head being a lot lighter when I've gotten a proper haircut for the first time in a while, so not sure what to make of that, but yeah. Told you before, Corona improve your hair. Yeah, and I ignored it. And now I have a Corona haircut. Well, not a haircut, Corona hair. That's alright, there's worse things in the world. I could have actual Corona. So far I don't, so it's going well. Will there be any character modeling like the Ghost soon? I don't think so. Like the 3D artists we have on the team at the moment don't really stream that often, and we don't have that many characters left to model anyway. A lot of the 3D work that needs to be done now is architecture, foliage, clothing? Yeah, clothing. Which would still be very interesting to have a stream of, don't get me wrong. But, yeah. Your beard is very nice. Do you do it yourself or do you get it done? I always stream it myself. Don't really get paid enough to be able to go to barbers frequently to get that done. But thank you very much for noticing. To be fair, the only parts I can do well is just styling the sides. The neckline I always manage to fuck up, but you don't see that on stream, so it's fine. Oh, wasting time, definitely do, right? That's a great part of being right. No more B-Facts? Yeah, I decided to put a pause on B-Facts as they're actually hibernating. I feel like I have more to say when I'm actually actively working with the bees, because that's, you know, when I basically take the lessons I've applied during the season to the stream, and right now, because I don't really work with them too much, I have to actually really think hard on those B-Facts to come up with other things that you know have to do with the winter, not hibernation, but the winter period that they're going through right now. So I didn't want it to get too boring and monotonous, but I also didn't want to spend too much time thinking about the B-Facts. Because I'm pretty distracted when I stream and work in the creation kit anyway. So I was trying to minimize that a bit. Cheers for the save. Do we use Skyrim SE or original Skyrim for Skyblivion? Currently we are developing for Skyrim Special Edition, which in the future will probably be Skyrim Anniversary Edition, or both, since they're the same version of Skyrim. But currently we do not have plans to support Skyrim Legacy Edition, so Skyrim that came out in 2011. If we can, we will, but for now we're just focusing on the hard part, which is, you know, getting it done, and then we'll see what we can and cannot support. Thank you for the save, by the way, Hannah. Yeah, the necklines are very, very tough. Very, very tough. Get something really strange some days ago. We have chickens, and after I fed them, I saw more and more bees gathering inside the food container, digging into the grains. Interesting. What kind of food were you giving the chickens? If there's any kind of pollen that could have made it into the food, what essentially happens with bees is you have bees that go out on scavenging flights. And if they find a food source where there's plenty of food for others to gather as well, they will basically collect what they can, go back to the hive, and do what's called the waggle dance, where the bees can very accurately tell or communicate to their fellow bees who are close by where the food came from. So they can pretty much tell the fellow bees where a field of flowers is 4 kilometers away. They will be able to find it just by the waggle dance, which is insane. But yeah, if there was any kind of pollen in there, pollen is basically the protein for the bees. If one of them managed to find that, he will have communicated that to the rest of the hive, and the scavenger bees that were around will have come knocking. That's definitely what happened then. If there's not pollen, then might be something else. If there's any kind of sugars, that'll also do the trick. I guess you're still getting your bee facts. The bee will shamelessly twerk to tell others where the food is at. Kinda, yeah. So a bit of context for maybe people who are new, who don't watch the streams every day, or every day, because we don't do them daily all the time. Next to working on Skyblivion, I have a hobby by the name of beekeeping, where, you may have guessed it, I get to keep bees, which is something I do with my dad. We have a few hives, and we're part of a local club as well, where we have a few more hives, and where people get taught how to keep bees themselves, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Is that what those millennials girls are doing with their booties too? Yes. I think so. They are very intelligent creatures, yeah, they're pretty cool. There's a lot of cool experiments that were done with bees to see exactly how far their senses go. They actually had a study where they had a beehive or bee colony in a controlled environment, and every day at a specific time of day they would put out food for the bees, so nectar or honey, something for them to collect. Anything with sugar, bees will be attracted to. Not to be not distracted, not to be mixed up with wasps. If you're, for instance, if you're out during the summer, hey Dadu, thank you for the follow. If you're out for the summer and you're eating some ice cream, or you're having some chips.
Thanks for the bonus bee fact.
My pleasure. You will see wasps being very attracted to that, and bugging you and annoying you, and maybe even stinging you. Bees don't do that. Bees only go to mass sources of food. They will not come and get your chips. That's a wasp thing to do, and even though you may not like it, wasps are also very useful, so not a fan of killing those. But yeah. Anyway, forgot what I was gonna say, so I'm gonna leave it at that, I think. Do you place each bush and tree individually? I am afraid so, yeah. By the way, party people, thank you very much for the 5 months and for using your Prime as well. Oh yeah, I remember what I was talking about. So there was this study with bees where they would feed bees at a very specific time of day. A very interesting thing happened because they took this colony of bees that were basically programmed to always go to a very specific spot at a very specific time to get a very specific type of food. So that the bees had grown accustomed to getting fed, basically. Not fed as in, you know, giving a dog a bowl, but, you know, they were trained to know that there was food somewhere nearby. And then they took this colony of bees to the other side of the world, where they would fly out at midnight. Because funny thing happened, the bees were actually jet lagged. They had lost the ability to perceive time properly, because, you know, they'd been flown halfway across the world. So for them, it was business as usual. And all of a sudden, when they flew out, it was nighttime. Which, as you may have imagined, kind of confused them a little bit. And they were looking for that food that they were accustomed to always being there, which also wasn't there. But, you know, as bees are intelligent creatures, they eventually figured out what was going on, and they adjusted their schedule accordingly. But for that brief moment, they were absolutely jet lagged and were disoriented and trying to find where they were, which is not where they went to sleep at. Which I find very interesting. I'm totally butchering the story, by the way. But I'm not a storytelling, okay? I'm a modder who happens to stream on Twitch. So if you want good stories, look it up on YouTube. I'm sure you can find it. Have you heard of Project X-Ray? It was something the Americans planned to do during World War II. College Humor does a really good video on it. I have not. I've also not watched College Humor in ages. Like, that was a YouTube channel I watched when I was a wee young lad. Didn't know they were still making videos. Very cool. And I have to look them up. Just trying to spread out these trees a bit more evenly, as they were very clumped together before. Just trying to give them a bit more space, while at the same time trying to stick with my plan to have a bit of a treeless valley. I want to have a nice view. I want the player to be able to gaze through the valley, essentially, and having most of the vegetation as here. This is what I want it to look like, the valleys, with grass. So that even in the Colovian Highlands, which is a specific biome, you have like a mini biome that looks and feels different, and it's in its own kind of special region area, because it's kind of wedged between the mountain ranges. So the mountain ranges are very steep and filled with rocks and boulders, what have you. And then I'd like to have a ravine in the middle that's a lot more calm, and valley, that's the word I was looking for as well, thanks. Yeah, I'd like the valley to be a bit more calm and serene and peaceful looking. Thank you for the save, Mano. This is the downside of working with the creation kits. I like the creation kits. I know we talk shit about it sometimes. It is pretty outdated now, but one of the worst things to do with the creation kit is working on larger regions, because the creation kit can only load a set amount of grids. Grids are collections of cells. So I can only look at this area, because if I go beyond it, see how it's now unloaded? It has to be loaded in again, which also means that if you're working on a really big mountain, you can't really see it unless you up your U-grids to insane amounts of, grids. The problem with that is performance is going to be very intense, and the creation kit is also prone to crash more often. So, yeah, not the most convenient tool to make big mountain ranges in, but hey, I'm very much looking forward to Starfield. Not because I'm looking forward to the game too much. At the same time, not because I'm not looking forward to the game. The game I'm not educated enough about. Like I'm not really too keen because I just haven't been up to date with what it is and what we can expect. But what I'm looking forward a lot is the new creation engine that Bethesda has used for Starfield. I'm very looking forward to seeing what Creation Engine 2 can do, because that will kind of tell us what we can expect for Elder Scrolls 6 as well, which of course is what I'm most interested in. So yeah, fingers crossed it's gonna be good. Thank you, Panda. What is your take on invisible walls? They are terrible. Yeah, I really don't like invisible walls. And I can be very brief about why. Because they rip you out of the experience. If there's an invisible wall holding you back or keeping you from entering a specific place or region or anything like that, it feels a bit like a kick to the groin. And any of the dudes in the chat right now probably know what that feels like. It's not a very pleasant experience. It's not one that most of us would recommend, I don't think. Unless you're a bit kinky, that's cool too. You do you. But I think generally speaking, a kick to the nuts is very, very uncomfortable, very unpleasant, and not something you'd want others to experience. And that's kind of what I feel every time I hit an invisible wall. And Oblivion did this a lot, unfortunately. Go a specific way and go a bit too far, and you'll run into that wall saying you can't go any further. A more recent game that also has it is, for instance, The Witcher 3. Love The Witcher 3. Don't like the invisible walls. And there's a lot of ways you can prevent those walls from being needed in the first place. In Skyblivion we have those walls, but the walls, pun intended, are a second line of defense. Our first line of defense is a natural barrier. So a big mountain range can also function as a wall. If you see a mountain range that basically scales directly up and is gaining a lot of elevation without any type of road that you can seemingly travel across, you're automatically put off on trying to explore and travel there, because you can see it's probably not gonna, yield any results. It's not gonna allow you to go anywhere you want to go. So that's a very simple way to create a natural barrier yourself, and that's the way Skyrim did it as well, and that's the way future Elder Scrolls games, I imagine, will do this too. But it was a bit of a design flaw, limitation of the time. Games weren't really doing that, which is probably why Oblivion has it, which is cool. It's fine. But we're trying to do it a bit more elegantly. You know, you're not gonna be able to go from Cyrodiil to Hammerfell. That's a bit too far. But at the same time, we don't want to discourage you from just exploring, and running into invisible walls is not part of the DNA. I'm not sure if I'm close to Fort Untis. I'm not sure which one it is. Oh, was Untis the one I did the other stream? Because I know exactly where that is, and that's pretty close. No, oh yeah, that's Dirich. I remember no clipping out of the edge of the map in Oblivion, and being so heartbroken when it would just... yeah. Yeah. And it was just the rest of the world. I hope I'm not talking too much over the music. The music is seriously kick-ass. We have the Skyrim Anniversary concert playing in the background from the London Orchestra. The reason why I'm putting all these what do you call them again? Mountain trims down is because they add a lot of depth to the scene. We already gave the landscape hills and bumps, so it looks three-dimensional running across it. But these kind of rocks and stones poking out of the ground will give it a bit more depth as well, which helps in trying to mimic, well, real life, which I think goes a long way. I don't want to add it too much, you know, and I don't want to remove the flowing hills. So we're just adding them sparingly. At the end of the day, the valley is located... Oh, there's the camera. The valley is located between two mountains, so there's going to be a lot of debris falling off of that all the time. So the valley will have some of those pieces of rock collected at the bottom. At the same time, all the leaves and debris from the natural flora, and even in some cases fauna, from the area will be collected in that same valley as well, which is why there's a lot of dirt and fertile soil. So the goal is really to try and reach a happy middle ground between the two. So we can see here an area that I've worked on a bit already. You can see there's a lot of stones sticking through and rocks poking out, and then here we have the area that I haven't worked on yet, which is a lot more empty. Now it already helps to have the grasses. The grasses will fill some of that emptiness, but still, I think you can see a pretty big difference already. The area we've just worked on a bit, when you just see the happy little stones, to channel my inner Bob Ross, poking out, enjoying the sun. It adds a lot of depth and personality to the scene, which will make your exploring more pleasant, I hope. Can we put a skeleton beneath a rock? Like beneath it so you can't see it, or somewhere where you can find it? Answer to both is yes. I mean, I've put down my fair share of skeletons. It's always fun to put down a random skeleton. Always plays more than one rock because everyone needs a friend. Beautiful. Here we go. 2 friends. What about dead trees? Yeah, good shout. Every once in a while I do place a dead tree as well. I think here definitely a bit of an imbalance, so we can put some more dead trees down, or one more. See, there's a dead tree over there, dead tree over there, dead tree here, dead tree there. And here we have one dead one in this area, but there's not a single dead one hereabouts. So maybe we just take out this one and put that there instead. Beautiful. I'm not removing these trees, I'm just temporarily disabling them so I can get up close with my landscaping tool. Slightly raise the terrain so that it sticks out over the rocks, smooth it out a bit more. Go. Now it's just a rock sticking through instead of having the rocks and its landscape texture, because even though it's the same texture, you can still see, you know, there's a bit of a line. So what I like to do instead is I like to cover them with the landscape mesh, almost like a blanket on top, to make sure that it's perfectly in sync with the terrain.
Boah.
Icefan, you want a Dutch lesson. You want to say in Dutch, roses are red, lemons are sour. Blessed be the day when Skyblivion I will devour. Okay, well, if you're ever in Holland and you want to say that, you say rozen zijn rood, citroenen zijn zuur. I'm gonna try and make this rhyme. Rozen zijn rood, citroenen zijn zuur. Gezegend is de dag wanneer Skyblivion betuur. Rozen zijn rood, citroenen zijn zuur. Gezegend is de dag wanneer ik Skyblivion betuur. Not the exact same, and we're saying, I'm not even sure if betuur is a word. Betuur is to look, gaze. So blessed be the day when I can gaze at Skyblivion. Try my best. This song is really cool. These spheres are butterfly spawners, by the way. Oblivion had these butterfly boxes, which we have because we ported it, but we are instead using actual butterflies, which unlike these ones, can be 1, killed, and 2, picked up as well. Okay, I'm actually gonna. How long have we been live? An hour. I'm gonna switch to mountain pose, which I learned is a thing because I'm trying to do yoga once a day now. Yeah, I'm gonna be one of those annoying people who can't stop talking about yoga. I'm not actually. I like the exercise, I don't like the instructor at all. Sorry, responding to texts. I'm very popular. Not true, I never get texts. So when I do, you know, I need to jump right on it. Okay, we're gonna... I'm not sure if we're gonna do much at the Alien Ruin. Looks pretty good already. The actual entrance. The entrance is here, but where is the door? Oh, the door is covered. Ah, that's not good. Oh crap, I missed the Dutch lesson. Francine, please stop attacking my feet. I'm trying to sleep. Sing? I would like to yell this at my sweet cat. Oké. Francine, hou alsjeblieft op met mijn voet aanvallen wanneer ik probeer te slapen. Which is saying, please, or Francine, please stop attacking my feet. I'm trying to sleep. Interesting Dutch lesson. Yeah, let me explain a little bit more about these butterfly markers, because I did put them down, but then I forgot to explain how they work. And I'll explain how they work by showing them in the area above, which I finished off stream today. Okay, so just to paint you a proper picture, let's show the grass as well. So here are the butterfly spawners. They don't look much like butterflies, but when you're in game, I promise you they will. The way they work is simple. This box spawns the butterflies whenever you enter the cell that these are in. You won't see this happen because you're too far away, but it will spawn in when you enter the cell. And there are these little orange arrows, which are called critter markers. What you do is you take one of those critter markers and you place them down where you want a bug to land. So for instance, actually when I was already finished with the area, I put down a few more flowers, these ones. So let's say you want a butterfly to spawn, or to sit down, not spawn, but sit down on one of these flowers. You hold your cursor where you want the spawner to appear. And I copied the wrong thing. I have to copy this one. Just put it in. And now the butterfly will actually land on the flower itself. And actually, maybe I can even show you how this works real time, if we're lucky. This is cell 26 and 13. So let's have a look at 26 and 13. Hey, Laza. Where are we in the map? We are still in the Colovian Highlands. I'm actually going to jump in game because I want to show you this with the actual butterflies. What did I say it was? 26 and 13. Pause the music. COW test for Riel. Ignore these loading screens. They are placeholders from Oblivion. because at least when we use the placeholders, we know exactly how many we're gonna need. Beautiful. So we spawn exactly at the right spot. I'm just gonna set game hour to 13, so it's a bit brighter, easier for you guys to see. I'm gonna enter free camera mode so we can just fly around the scene. So here we can see a butterfly sitting down. In the creation kits, this is where we put down one of those orange markers. You don't see those in game. There's one on this flower as well, so that's where the butterfly is sitting down too. I think there might be a few over here. I don't see one over there though. Ooh, floating rock. I need to fix that. I put a bunch on this tree. Don't see any butterflies yet though. Might be because we're very close to it and butterflies don't like... Oh. Here's some butterflies that are sitting down on the lavender. They're sitting on the tree, so I really want one to sit down on the tree. Quickly check if there's enough spawn points. You know what? There might not be enough butterflies in the area to actually sit down on the tree. That might be why. Sit down on the tree too, but differently. Hey man, you do you. All good. Could you just add a spawn point on top of the tree? Yeah, no, you could. That's what I did. I alt-tabbed out and made sure there's a spawn point close by. I mean, if you put it on top of the tree, it won't make the butterflies sit on those spawn points per se. They sandbox around, so you don't have to put it on top. You can just put it in the neighborhood and they'll find their way. But yeah, in any case, this is an interesting area. This is something we talk about a lot with Skyblivion. From the start of the Oblivion remaster project, I made it a main goal, a main USB to reward exploration. Oblivion is a fantastic game and the map is great, but for people like myself who love exploring, there wasn't always that much to find. So something that we're trying to do is actively encourage people who explore. So for instance, you know, there's a little treasure chest on top of the Aelid Ruin should you ever go up there. But there's also areas like these. There's an even cooler one. There's actually like a hidden glade somewhere that you can find. But there's this cool area here, which has a lot of ingredients for you to pick up. There's a lot of flowers and plants that you can use for alchemy. There's no treasure here, there's no quest item, quest reward, anything like that. But the reward itself is, you know, being able to find a place like this when going off the beaten path. So the way you get here is by climbing up the mountain. There's a path over there that goes up it. There's a path over there that goes up the mountain. And basically deciding that somewhere at the top, you're just gonna walk down and find your own way. And that's when you can stumble upon this, which is otherwise inaccessible, which I think is very cool. It's you do have to appreciate these kind of rewards because there's no loot or anything of value for you to find, but I myself, I really appreciate these kinds of oh, before I kill myself, I really appreciate these kinds of details. Ooh, there's a gap here as well. How did I miss that? Smart. This is also a good reason why we playtest whenever we work on an area. When you think it's finished.
You. Hi.
Hi. Nostalgian DE. Herzlich willkommen. Yeah, usually when you think you finished an area, you haven't. See, there's also a floating plant. So you always have to go over your own area maybe 3 times, and even then, you know, when you go over it the 4th time, see, another floating plant. you find that there's still a few bugs. At the very start of the stream, let me disable the combat. At the very start of the stream, I put this one down because I noticed it was floating. Now that I walk past that one, I noticed that this one is floating as well.
By the Nine Divines! Assault! Assault!
Zara! Hello.
Hello there.
Thank you very, very much for the follow. Welcome, everyone. Hello. Hope you had a good stream.
It's you. Hi.
Skyrim, by any chance? With mods?
It's you. Hi.
Raid from the Stars. Those are some dope emotes. Air Fryers, Spooky QT, and Ross Squires. Thank you guys very much for the follows. Welcome. Oh yeah, hello. I am Rebel's Eyes. I happen to be the project lead for Skyblivion, which is a project that aims to remake the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion in the latest Elder Scrolls engine. Currently doing what we call landscaping or level design, which is working on the map. So we just finished this area, or actually we finished part of the area down there. This is an area I worked on earlier today, off stream, but I thought I might as well show it off. This one is interesting. There's actually a bandit camp here. I think I'm just gonna kill all because the combat music is a bit annoying. What's interesting about this bandit camp, and sorry for the bad performance, this happens when I run the game and the creation kit simultaneously. It's not very good for my setup. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, we have this bandit camp. It was here in Oblivion as well. We just recreated it. Funny thing is that in Oblivion there were 2 bandits, but there were 4 bedrolls. So there were 2 bedrolls that were not being used, and I saw that and I thought that was a bit weird. So some changes I made to this area, for instance, is one, I decided to put up a bigger tent for like the chief. So we gave him some nice loot, some strength potions, because you know a bandit chief always needs to show his strength. A nicer bed that's actually lifted off the ground compared to the other tents around. There's an Argonian now who's locked up, or well, who was locked up. They're free now, or at least their spirit is, I think. There's a bit more of a camp here. You know, there's supplies that they have in this broken down cart, which maybe they ransacked. Another thing I added was these towers that are overlooking the canyon, which is also new. This was not in Oblivion, the canyon. So this gives them an advantage for any travelers who come through the canyon to basically, you know, surprise them, hold them up, and send them on their way without, you know, their coin or whatever valuables they have on them. Zebadian, thank you very much for the follow as well, by the way, and welcome. Looking good? Thank you. Thank you very much, really appreciate that. Another little thing we added was this small gatehouse here. It's not much of a gatehouse, you'll see why. Yeah, you know what? I'll walk up to it and then you'll understand why there's a small gatehouse. So there's a few stairs across the path as well. It looks like it's been long abandoned, not very well maintained, but there's still remnants of it anyway, which surely we all appreciate. This area I worked on off stream today, or I finished off stream today, I should say. Trickier than you think to make a mountain path, because mountain paths are very annoying to mold with the creation kit. It's very difficult to create these twisting paths up an area. As you can see, there's a large bridge here as well. Now this area you can take with a grain of salt. I have done very little work here, so it's a lot more wonky. Like there's a lot of sharp edges. The character's getting stuck. But yeah, like I said, ignore that for now. But the reward at the end of the road is this beautiful castle, which was created by ClevJ, not by myself. Which is why I had a small gatehouse at the very bottom, because supplies would need to be brought into the mountains from all the way down there. Yeah, it made sense to me to try and create a bit more of a, you know, castle path that leads up to this beauty. Which is looking very, very cool. Yeah, there's some bugs and some some issues here that need to be fixed, but pretty cool place. Actually show you a bit better like this. Yeah, there's some small things that need to be worked on. For one, you can see the water plane is sticking out. Another one is that you see the front gate. You see how big those bricks are compared to the wall. It's because the asset was upscaled. So the artist used an asset that was not really meant to be used in this way. Again, I'm sorry for the performance issues. The game is running fine for me, by the way. I'm getting a solid 60 FPS. This is really just when, you know, I go in game and I stream at the same time. But yeah, you can see the walls and the bricks don't really match up. Glitz, that's alright. That's alright. I'm gonna jump out. So I don't wanna be too unproductive. You know, like I wanna get as much work done as possible. But yeah, you can see the same effect here. You know, these bricks are probably around the same size of the character, which is not quite right. The original asset that was used here is probably 1/5 the size of this, which are just some, yeah, small things that we shouldn't do. So I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. But the fort itself, like, it's fantastic the way it's made. Not sure if I could make something like this. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, that's that. I might as well take you down this road and show you some other areas I've worked on while we're in game anyway. So again, take this with a grain of salt. Very little work done here. From here on out, you can judge me harshly and fairly.
It's you. Hi.
Carlosis, thank you for the follow. Can't wait to roam the place with nonsensical mods. I'm looking forward to it. Hey Chicago Dog, thank you for the follow. Or save. It's getting late as well, yeah. Just gonna cheat. This issue is interesting. This is a Skyrim issue. This means that the terrain is not loading in. It's currently loading in the LOD instead. We didn't have this issue going up. It shoots. Oh, there we go. See, it caught up now. Probably also related to me streaming at the same time. Pretty big hog on performance. But yeah. As I mentioned, we have the camp. We have the part of the valley that I already finished, which I'm quite happy with. Like, I really like the way this looks and feels. So that's what we're gonna try and do in the area beyond as well. The pop-in will not happen on release either. We need to update the distant terrain. But that doesn't happen every time we have a merge internally. You can see I also put down a bunch of butterfly markers here. Because it makes the valley look and feel a bit more fantastical. An interesting area that's been added to this place, which was also designed by Clef J. I just went over it with a comb and make sure everything was tip-top, so I can take very little credit. But it's this canyon, which is very cool. Yeah, from here on out you can follow different branches into different areas of the Colovian Highlands. This is my favorite route to take because this leads to an alien city that I did design. I can finally take full credit for this one. As you know, or as you maybe not know, depends on how familiar you are with Oblivion. Oblivion had the history of an ancient race called the Aliens. The history, I say, the architecture, I should say, instead. Similar to the Dwemer of Skyrim, Oblivion had the long-lost elves well, they're called Aliad elves, or the Aliads as we know them. And the Ayleids, similar to the Dwemer, have huge underground cities. They're kind of the exact same as the Dwemer in a lot of ways. But yeah, for whatever reason they look different. I like it. I like the Ayleid ruins more than Dwemer ruins, to be honest with you. But this is one of the Ayleid cities I designed. So you have basically 3 layers, or you used to have 3 layers. This is the first layer, the second layer, and the third. All of these cities are usually completely broken down. There's not much left standing. But there's still a lot of magic to be found in these places, literally. There's also these magical flames that are still alight. Here is one as well. In these ruins, you can generally find Welkin stones, which contain magical properties. Near Ayleid wells and Ayleid ruins, you can also often find similar magical crystals that seemingly have grown on the surface, which are pretty cool. This is actually interesting. This statue is from Oblivion. It's ported. So the way we work is we generally have placeholder assets in our game, which we use, well, as a placeholder until they are remade. This one has been remade very recently, and it looks incredible. I really can't wait to have the new statue in game. It's gonna be great. The eagle looks a bit different, but I still think you'll appreciate the new design. Yeah, I think we're gonna jump out of the game and back to the creation kit, because there's a few things we had to fix. Starting with this rock, just floating. Sounds like we're gonna vibe. Okay, just making sure we put the butterfly in a good spot again. I also noticed in game this one was slightly floating. It's not a huge deal, but I saw it, so I might as well fix it. We had a couple of floaty things. We had this one that had a huge gap as well. Yeah. And then there was this one. It's floating. Lixter, thank you very much for the follow. Anyone else who's unable to play Skyrim with SKC64? You might be using the wrong version now, because there's the anniversary updates, which also have an SKC version. That's maybe worth checking. Only get Legendary Edition? Yeah, if you want to play Skyblivion, I do suggest you get Skyrim Special Edition or Anniversary Edition whenever you can. Okay, we're doing some work here. So I suggest we focus a bit on the alien ruin now. See how far we can get. Maybe a good place to start is to make sure that the terrain around this area is a bit smoother, so that when you walk up it, you don't go. Song should play during the credits. You know what? That's not even the worst idea in the world. Maybe it should. Hey Devin, welcome back. Where are we now? Still Colovian Highlands. We're just at the alien ruin of No Nungalo. No Nungalo. Rolls off the tongue. Thank you for the save reminder. Back you in the face. Sorry.
It's you. Hi.
Nemadum, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Valhalla's graphics are amazing. Are you talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Or, yeah, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that's what it's called. I'm low-key interested in Valhalla. I know it's... Actually, we've talked about this a few times now, I think. I know for Assassin's Creed fans, Valhalla is probably, you know, not a real AC game. But it looks pretty good. Visually speaking, anyway. And I haven't, like, my last Assassin's Creed game that I really got into, for being an Assassin's Creed game, I should say, was Black Flag. Black Flag I really loved. I've played Assassin's Creed Origins quite a lot. Last year, I bought it on a discount because I really love Greek mythology, so that setting for me was very attractive and pretty much the entire reason why I bought it. After Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I played Assassin's Creed Origins, which I thought was very good as well. I really liked Bayek's story. Very interesting take on basically the birth of the Assassin's Creed, or of the Creed. Plus Egypt, what a cool setting that was. That's a really badass setting for an AC game. I'm not gonna remove that. Hey Crest, how's it going? Welcome to the chat. Favorite AC game was Black Flag as well. Can't say it was my favorite game. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I haven't really thought about it. But I definitely loved it at the very least. Edward Kenway. Badass character that guy was. This is an interesting one. So here's a spawn for a creature that seemingly is on top of a building, which means they will be stuck there. So for better or worse, I'm putting it together with this one. Now they spawn creatures at random, so it can be a deer and another deer, but it can also be a deer and a wolf. So hopefully for most of you this will be 2 deer, but if not, well, it will be very easy prey, I think, for the wolf. To Daedroth? Well, they will be wildlife spawns, so Daedroth, they can never be. Not part of the leveled list. Flagro, lovely. Thank you very much for a second Prime sub. 2 months, thank you. Enjoy the emotes. Yeah, good stretch, good stretch. Played oranges just because it's Egypt. Yeah, the setting was badass. I genuinely really loved the dynamic of Bayek and what was her name? The other one. Aya. Hey Thea. Yes, Aya. The other assassin. Stone broken keyboards. Sweet. You can meet Cassandra from Odyssey and AC Valhalla. Yeah, I played that that free quest line in my winter break. Christmas break, whatever you call that.
Lovely.
Rip Hearth. Thank you very much for dropping a prime as well. Super kind of you, thanks. Just gonna make this broken as well. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the emotes and was your first as well. Much appreciated. Landscape was A+. Pyramids, Sphinxes, Lighthouse, Alexandria, yeah. AC Odyssey was pretty insane. To be fair, all the newer Assassin's Creed games, like graphically, they look fantastic. They really got a nice engine over there to develop their games on. Something you can notice though is they seem to reuse a lot of their assets, which is not a problem, by the way. I think that's very smart. Something I wish other companies would do more of, because it seems like you waste so much time recreating more or less the same assets every single franchise. But yeah, playing Odyssey, God damn it, Origins. You see a lot of borrowed assets, and I noticed a couple in Valhalla as well. Thought Howard is worth it all. Glad to hear it. Have you heard of the guy on YouTube that calls random place and uses the VA from games to talk to them? No, I do not. Talking about random places, we have a random place on the internet. It's our own little slab of interwebs. Which is a Discord server, which I just linked in the chat. If you want, it's a fantastic place to stay up to date with the streams. We have the adoring fanbot who will keep you updated on when the streams go live, which is very useful because that way you don't ever have to miss a single one. Now, if you're like me, you hate Discord's spam, and you know exactly when everyone goes live, and you don't need a bot to tell you that. You can also just not subscribe to the notifications, so that's totally an option as well. Congratulations, by the way, your big brain. Yeah, other than that, I mean, it's a great place to make suggestions for the streams as well. If you think there's a certain emote we need to get, like Caro and her Kek, you can let me know there. If we're playing a game and you think there's a specific mod I need, you can leave suggestions for that as well. There's a pet channel too, if you have a really cute dog or cat. We had someone who showed an owl. We had someone who had a fox. We had spiders and... What's the most insane animal we've seen on there? Oh! We had a guy who had a domesticated raccoon. That was pretty awesome. I think that's the most badass one. Food as well. For New Year's, I was cooking some, I was baking. I showed off my bakings. I also made, for Christmas, I made one of the recipes from the Skyrim cookbook, which I posted an image of, which was the honey pudding. Skyrim's honey pudding is the one I made. Really good. Definitely recommend it if you have the cookbook. Outblast. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, drink water, drink water, bitch.
You may be asking, why the hell am I doing this? Because I can paint it. When I paint it, this is a great life hack, grass grows on top of it. Unfortunately, in the creation engine, grass can only grow on the landscape mesh, on the land mesh. But there's a little trick, which is pulling the land mesh up as high as it goes, and that way you can have grass growing on objects as well, or through objects technically, because it's not growing directly on it. Just one of the many ways in which we sometimes need to trick the creation kit a little bit in order to do what is now considered pretty basic stuff. But hey, we love the CK, even with its quirks. As we're talking about pets, whose cat was that you showed? Oh, that was my my ex-girlfriend's cat, I guess. The cat lives at her parents, and every year I bring them some of the baked goodies as well. This is actually the first year that damn animal came to me. He's never sat on my lap. I used to sleep next to that cat for 3 years, and the only thing it ever did to me, which came close to being affectionate, was putting its pooper in my face, which I didn't appreciate at all, because that thing, well, stinks. But yeah, for some reason on New Year's Day, or what's the day before New Year's? Old Year's? Whatever. He sat on my lap. Finally. New Year's Eve, right. It's for those who don't know it or haven't seen the picture, it's a naked cat. Ugly as hell. Like, and there's naked cats who actually look pretty cute and kind of pretty. It's not this one. But yeah, I did like that silly little thing. Still a bit salty they went to the parents, not to me, but what are you gonna do?
Hello there.
Parts unknown. Thank you to follow. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Oh shit. What if I took a big poop on your lap? I don't think I'd appreciate it, to be honest with you. But who knows? You don't like it until you try it. What I've been brought up with anyway.
Fire and war. Come Nerevar, come and look upon the heart. Upon the heart. Lay down.
This little bugger was hidden under the floor.
Come and look upon the heart. Upon the heart.
Thank you for the save.
God, how can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Nerevar. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god. God. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god. Well, the moon and star, come to me through fire and war. Oh, oh, come Nerevar, come and look upon the heart, upon the heart. Oh, lay down your weapons, it is not too late for my mercy. Oh, oh, come and look upon the heart, upon the heart. Oh, oh, oh.
When can we expect some Geralt of Rivia action?
How can you kill a god?
Good question.
Intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Nerevar. I'm a god.
I have to check my schedule, to be honest.
I'm a god. I'm a god. God. I'm a god.
Don't think I have time for today.
I'm a god. I'm a god.
Dad Ahmed, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome.
There is no escape.
Hope I'm pronouncing that semi-correctly.
There is no escape. No recall or intervention can work.
If not, I did try.
There is no escape. No recall or intervention can work in this place. There is no escape.
Do you love Putin?
How can you kill a god?
Not really.
Grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Nerevar. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god. God. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god.
Oh, pudding. Yeah, I guess I like pudding. Can't say I love it. I like it well enough. Hello God, how's it going? Yeah, I think it's what they meant as well. Of pooting? What is pooting? I don't know, it looks too much like pooping for me. There's one thing I've learned from the internet is that it's that very innocent looking words can mean something quite different, so until I know what pooting is for sure, yeah. gonna say whether or not I like it. So it's gonna get clipped, and everyone is gonna see the clip, and I will never live it down. Ahmed, so the reason you got timed out, and there's no need to be upset with the moderators for that because it's a legitimate timeout. We don't really talk about politics here. It's an important topic, and it's not so much that I want to censor anyone or that I think we cannot have an opinion on those things. Quite the opposite, but you know, it's one of those things, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. Personally, I'm bored to death with politics. Can't stand it anymore. So when I stream, it's kind of like the last thing I wanna read about. You know, there's already all kinds of stuff happening every single day. So it's just something that we try to avoid here. As well as, you know, sometimes people have very strong opinions on one thing, or they lean very heavily towards one side. I don't know. Generally speaking, there's no right and wrong. There's definitely exceptions to that rule as well, and I have my own opinions, but I don't want to let that sour the stream or have any impact on your ability to kind of detach from all that crap and focus on something else. So. That's why. Noob question, do you work full-time as a game dev? No, I work full-time as something completely different, and I hobby full-time as a game dev of sorts, I suppose. I think this place looks good. Weird. I didn't do too much. Like I left the layout as it was. I just cleaned up some bits and bobs. Something else for this because it clashes quite a lot. Do you want to become a full-time game dev? It's a very interesting question. Fortunately, I don't have a simple answer. Thing is, something I learned also from doing this project, that when you do something you love, you tend to enjoy spending time on it. And the time spent is not seen as an investment or a chore. It's something you do happily. And that very much describes Skyblivion for me. Like I enjoy doing this. I have a full-time job, and after that full-time job, I pretty much always find time to spend on the project, and you know, spend time with you peeps to do some development stuff. But I feel like when you make your hobby your work, you need to be very lucky in the place of work where you execute this hobby. I have a couple of friends who work in the gaming industry who, of course, I will not name anyone, but who are not incredibly excited about their work. You know, they always wanted to become a game dev, but then they became a game dev, and now they have to work and deal with crunch a lot, or they feel like they're not getting paid enough and they're not really valued for the work that they do, which has kind of soured their relationship with video games as well. And in that regard, I feel quite lucky that I managed to almost find a full-time hobby in Skyblivion. I can still hone my skills. I can sort of work in game development without really doing any official development. Does that make sense? It's almost like when you're running a marathon and you get a participation badge. That's what working on Skyblivion kind of feels like to me. It's all the fun without the hassle. So on one hand, I would like to do game development as a job. On the other, there's other fun jobs you can do within the gaming industry. Community management is something I think can be a lot of fun, or influencer management. You know, working with influencers on your games and campaigns, where you have a bit more of the personal touch. But yeah, I don't know. If I was to do gaming full time, it would have to be at a very open and welcoming company for me to, you know, not get burned out on it, I think. Or at least I'm just a bit scared of losing the passion and love. I would really hate for that to happen. I would hate to stop loving doing this kind of thing and for it to feel more like a chore. Yeah, who knows? Time will tell. If possible, who knows? Maybe I'll work on a game of our own with some of the Skyblivion folks in the distant future. Maybe we'll make a comeback. This was doing very minute work, by the way. I hope it paid off. Looks fine. Yeah, Vesid, maybe we will. Who knows? Didn't you intern at Activision? Yeah, I did an internship at Activision as a community manager some 2 years ago, I think now. That was fun. Though I'd rather work on an international level, which is actually what I do now. Okay, now we need to put down some critter spawns to make sure that the butterflies land. For some reason people seem to think those who work in the gaming industry get paid these massive bonuses, but the amount of hours you put in versus the amount of pay is shit. Only got paid a bonus once or twice. They never exceeded £400. Yikes, yeah. I've watched some documentaries as well on the development cycle of specific games, where they talked about that, and they said like bonuses were dependent on how well the game did. Which, I mean, the definition of a bonus is something extra, so whether or not the game does well or not, you should be paid a proper wage, and then if it does do really well, then you'd get a bonus. That makes sense to me, but to not get a proper month's wage with the potential of a bonus, that's not right. Also, welcome back, dudes. I sent you a message on Discord. Was curious how your CKing was going, if everything was working as intended. Need any help or pointers or anything like that? These bonuses don't really exist anymore. You need to go into mobile to make money now. No! Mobile gaming is the enemy. Right, we put down all the critter. I know what, let's put one way up there, and then we can call it a day. Just to be sure. A butterfly spawner there. Eat. Whoop, wrong one. Yeah, for those who missed the explanation earlier, these spheres are butterfly spawners, and these arrows here are the landing markers. Essentially, the butterflies will send box around, so they will just, you know, flutter around, and every once in a while they will go down and land somewhere, which in this case will be wherever we decide to put the markers. One right there. Thank you for the save. Here's for the save. So now that all this is done, we can move on to the next stage, which is putting down the bush. Smiley on the pillar? I don't know what you're talking about. Didn't see any smileys. Alright, so I'm just gonna go through the area now and place all the smaller bushes. I usually save that for last. No real reasons. No reason why you couldn't do it earlier. The reason for me is because I sometimes, I don't know, decide to do something else than I originally did before. So, you know, if I do end up making changes to the landscape, I would have to replace the bushes, and it's just my workflow. It's sometimes a bit messy. So in order to avoid any mix-ups there, I prefer to just keep doing this stage at the very last. Something that helps as well is that because you're only placing down one type of asset sparingly across the area, it's pretty quickly to put down. You can go over it very quickly. Have you heard of the High Elves? Funny enough, that line is purely from a meme, and it doesn't exist in Oblivion. Have you heard of StreamerBot tool? I have not. What does it do? I think I scared off Bet-like with my question. Oh no, actually answered me in Discord. This area can use a bit more growth. Few more here because I seemingly have forgotten to do so. McSquiz, thank you for the follow. Welcome. By the way, there's no questions that are really off limits in this chat. If I don't answer your question, it's because I'm just not paying attention to the chat. Feel free to ask again after a while if I haven't gotten to yours yet. So we've put that down.
What's the
Bread.
matter? Getting tired?
No.
Oh, lovely.
And Titan.
Had my sub smiley face.
I will have it. Thank you very much. Sub received. Can we get some hearts in the chat, or love, or cheese for Fred F with a prime for 3 months, and Titan also for a prime of 3 months. Thanks, guys. Did the anniversary update cause any trouble with the project? No. We're currently just working off of an old version of Skyrim, or well, the Skyrim. God damn it, what's the name? Special Edition. And we're just avoiding the upgrades really at the moment, because yeah, if we were to update, it would break some of our scripts. But until the time comes that we actually have to do that, we're just sticking with the old version, and that works fine for us. And VK very nicely redeemed a push-up, because as some of you know, as great as streaming is, me at least, I will get a bit of a sore back and muscles ache. One way to prevent that is to keep moving. So I'm sure this is not because you want me to sweat or to get down on all fours. It's purely because you're being very helpful, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm gonna do some push-ups in a bit. And probably thank you for that, so thanks. May not sound like I mean it, but I do. Somewhere deep down. When you switch to AE, you can maybe integrate the fishing mechanic. I am 100% hoping and somewhat expecting modders to do that. There's just, you know, there's already not enough time in the day to make Skyblivion happen as it is. Which is obviously not really true, because, you know, we are making it happen, but as a matter of speech. So adding more work on top of our already big workload, in the form of doing, you know, integrations like that is just not smart right now. So yeah, it's time for you guys to pick up the slack. If you want any of these official add-ons to make it into Skyblivion, do it. We believe in you. If you were able to make the mods, you should be able to make the compatibility patches. What about an altered terrain spell like No Man's Sky? Make a mod for it. You have my my blessing. Alright, cool. I'm gonna do those push-ups, and I'm gonna refill my water at the same time as well. So if I walk away, it's just because I'm getting some water as well. Yeah, Chicago Dog, by all means. Send the link in the Discord so I can check it out after the stream if you can. For those who are wondering, that's what I was getting off the ground. I got this for Christmas because of all the streams and all the push-ups you guys are forcing me to do. So now it doesn't hurt my wrists. It didn't really hurt my wrists before, but it is easier to dictate what form you want to choose or whatever, so. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna refill that water. And how many push-ups do you do every day? I mean, look at me. I'm a skinny guy, so honestly, it kind of depends on the streams. I don't really do that many myself. It's mostly because of the streams.
Drink water, drink water, drink water, bitch.
Okay, using the break to say goodbye for today. Wish you all a fun stream. Alright, dudes. Thank you for the follow, and hopefully see you in the next one. Oh, that was your, that's what it is. Okay. I'll watch it on stream really quickly. I'm not gonna watch the full thing, but I'll watch snippet.
Bard.
Right. Go along with it.
Geralt?
Of Rivia. Go along.
This
Song. From when
The White Wolf fought.
Silver
don't devil.
His army of bells. His did.
They... Revel.
The timing.
They came
After me.
Masterful.
deceit.
Down.
How long does it take to put these together, Jesus?
My
Teeth.
A while.
the devil's
Horns.
mince.
Our tender.
Do you use like AI or something to put this together, or do you really go through the trouble? Yeah, your favorite video has to be.
Hello, Peter.
You're not Peter Parker.
It's the Grand Champion. I can't believe it's you standing here next to me. It was me. I was the Grand Champion. No, wait, I was the Enduring Fan. It's so silly. Yeah. Whiteo. The link I posted earlier. In the Discord? I don't see any links on the Discord. Scrolling up, but I also don't see any links there. I'm gonna avoid this cell here because it has an Oblivion gate. I'm saving all the Oblivion gates for later. Because there's a very particular way of doing them and I want to just kind of do them all in one go. Settlement's prank. Oh yeah, I've seen all the Ice Gem ones. I think I still have a lot of top comments on a lot of his Skyrim videos. Yes. Hey, Forgotten Fantasy, how's it going? Right. Minus 24 and 11. Even though I don't do them, I do mark them on my map. So I don't lose them. Okay, this is 11, 21, 22, 23. Oh, I already marked it off. Cool. Good job, me. Moving on, we're going to be inching towards the shrine. Okay, what time is it? 10:30. I was around 10 years old when I first played Oblivion, and I remember caves and ruins used to scare the poop out of me for some reason. Because they're scary. Did stream Daggerfall Unity? Well, first I need to get through The Witcher 1. Then I might need to play The Witcher 2 as well, for good measure. And after that, I can give Daggerfall Unity a go, I think, as well.
Greetings!
Aiden, thank you very much. Follow. So many happy little trees, right? I'm trying to spread them out a bit more, that we're all clumped together here, and especially in the valley, like I mentioned earlier. I want there to be... There can definitely be trees in the valley, but I don't want them to take up the view like they do elsewhere. I want the valley to be a bit more clear. Easier to gaze through, literally. So that's why I'm doing it this way. I'm gonna have a few clumps of trees here to kind of cover up the way shrine a little bit. Minus 22 and 11, is that my claim? Yes, definitely is my claim. Thank you for the save. Phase, thanks. Where are you from? I'm from the Netherlands. Holland. Moth that turns trees into followers. Sounds creepy. Someone should make a horror game based on that. Trees following you around. Like ends, but evil.
It just works.
Literally used to Bluetooth this to my speakers while I showered. Damn, you're the real Adoring fan. I see this as a sign that either people love or hate a lot.
Who's laughing now?
Okay. Animated emotes work on mobile now? Finally! Took a while. Anyone else feel a bit confused about the time of year? I don't really feel like it's winter. Probably because it's so warm in Holland at the moment, like it's spring temperatures. It also doesn't feel like we just had Christmas. I feel like I'm in limbo.
Hello there.
Chipster, thank you for the follow, dude. Welcome on in. Song is playing. I think it's called Around the Fire. Oh no, a chance meeting from the Skyrim soundtrack. Surprisingly meditative to watch. Thanks for the stream. My pleasure. I hear that quite a lot, to be frank. I also hear that a lot of people watch these streams to fall asleep to. Totally fine by me. No, it's not around the fire. It's a chance meeting. Fucked up. Chance meeting. Starting to feel tunnel vision a bit for this area. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm longing to work on mountains again. I want to see mountains again, Gandalf. Mountains. Okay, give me a sec. I need to So this was something I was very curious about. So I'm just gonna read this out loud. Usually I don't, you know, I hate it when people take screenshots of the text and stuff. Yeah, it's personal. Don't do that. Don't be a dick. But so I got this message from my friend, pretty much an hour ago, 2 hours ago actually. Time flies. Time is a son of a bitch. And he said, having sex in an elevator is wrong on so many levels. Which is odd because he's Dutch as well. We usually we sometimes text stuff in English, but not really this kind of stuff. But maybe because he thought he wasn't really, I don't know. I thought this was like a weird thing he did, and he wasn't sure how to bring it to me, so he would just say it in English. And I actually my question was, wow, okay, how many floors? Because what is sex, right? Is it just penetration, or did you like full on have sex? Because you're gonna need a lot of levels. Otherwise, you know, I mean, you need to be in the elevator for what, like 2 minutes at least to make it worth your while. And he said, I don't know, 8. And so I said, you dog, how was it? And then he just got back to me, it's a joke, you get it, right? And I was like, oh, so that's why you said it in English, and that's why it was so confusing. So, yeah. Yeah, that's my story. It's a pun. Yeah, I get it now. I get it. But I thought he was being serious. So I was like, damn, dude. This new girlfriend, she's, in for some freaky deaky stuff. And he doesn't seem like the type to do that. So my next question was seriously going to be like, what, was it consensual from your end? Should I be concerned? Because that doesn't sound like you at all. But it's a pun. I didn't get it. I was seriously asking him questions about how many floors and yeah. Not the brightest tool, but still a tool. Yeah, that's good to know. Hey, Hamiltox. Jokes can be hard. This one was, yeah. Because of the sex. Okay. I'm lost, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Thank you, by the way. Everyone, just for watching. Just noticed there's 240 of you watching right now. And I just want to say it's appreciated. Thanks for cheering me on, for lurking, for reminding me to save the creation kit every once in a while. Perfect timing for this jam. It's appreciated. And if you haven't yet, by the way, there's a lot more people streaming from the Skyblivion Project. If you type, I think, !team, you'll find the links for all the other people in the Skyblivion team who stream on Twitch. I highly recommend you give them a look and a follow.
I went to find the sweet rose, got my best shot, fired down. Then I took one bite, and by the divines, I felt just like the count. I could eat sweet rose all my life. That'd be fine with me. I could eat sweet rose all my life. That'd be fine with me. That'd be fine with me. That'd be fine with me. So I bought that house in skin grass, 'cause I thought that now's the time. With that girl full of sweet rose, I decided to retire. I could die.
Oh no, why did I do that?
I could live outside his door. I could smell the sweet rose anywhere.
Didn't mean to resize my window. Fuck.
May I have some more? I could eat sweet rose all my life. That'd be fine with me. I could eat sweet rose all my life. That'd be fine with me.
Hi.
Starbaroni, thank you very much for the follow.
Fine with me. That'd be fine
Who made the
with
song?
me.
His name on YouTube is Young Scrolls. He just put out a new song yesterday, actually. Yo, thanks for the save.
I could eat sweet rose all
Just gonna do a bush pass again, just placing down these smaller bushes. After that, I'm gonna jump in game because I'm a bit curious how this area is shaping up. I feel like I might end up getting rid of those trees near the way shrine anyway, or at least the majority of them, because they're kind of defeating the whole purpose, the whole idea we had for this area, which was to have more empty space and hills and do you have a reference for when you work, or how does this work? I have references, kind of. When Skyblivion started, I made design documents for all the biomes, all the regions in Cyrodiil. So those are pretty much engraved into my brain. But on top of that, those areas have like real life references that I'm trying to build off of, and a lot of it is actually also memory. I've had like visualizations of most of these areas for so long in my head. Now it's just a matter of putting them onto the canvas. So I'm usually just freeballing it, really. I'm just thinking what would look good for this area, and then I just do that. Doesn't mean that I don't put any thought behind it. Obviously, like all the biomes in Cyrodiil need to look different from each other, and that means that you know, we have to use different kinds of vegetation. And the Colovian Highlands, for instance, is a dry region. It borders the Gold Coast, which is also a drier region. So that's something you have to try and sell. It's a mountain region, so there need to be a lot of rocks and debris, which you can see here. So yeah, it's kind of a mix of those things, really, I guess. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of an experiment. I'm going to explore the map from one part that I've worked on all the way to where we are now. Minus 31 and 7. We're gonna take a trip. I'm gonna see if it's matching the work I've done so far. Hey, we're talking. Hey, Malakor. I don't have all my cards yet. No, not by far. What did I just say? Already forgot. Minus 31 and 7. 31 and 7. Okay, test for Tamriel. Minus 31, 7. I found out this week that all my favorite streamers do streams on weekday nights. Sounds like all your favorite streamers have to work full time at boring jobs as well. Me included.
Thank you.
If you're touring the map, can we see Vlasterus?
If you can tell me where Vlasterus is, yeah. Thanks for the 100 biddies, by the way. I have to go. See you later. Thanks for the stream. Thanks again, as always. You're great. You're doing great work. You and your team. Cheers, dudes. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it. Okay. Gonna start from here-ish. So these are all cells that I've worked on. And you guys are gonna tell me if this feels good, if there's things you'd like to see improved. I love these little flowers. Does the smoke mean you've finished Kvatch? Smoke means Kvatch is burning, dude. Smoke is bad news. This might also be interesting. This is one of the mountain paths up into, you guessed it, the mountains. Where you can see the area gradually change a bit. But yeah, the smoke is there to just signify that Kvatch is burning. Kvatch is actually in my claim as well. But I'm not doing any work there at the moment. Don't have the assets yet anyway, so it would be a waste of time. Climbing up and up and up and up. Beautiful deer. The reason why they're just kind of standing still like that is because there's no nav mesh yet. Oh, you guys were asking about skeletons earlier. Like there's definitely some skeletons here and there, hidden throughout the map. This is a dude with a walking stick who was just enjoying the view. We're taking his last breath. But he left us his knapsack, very kind of him.
Hello there.
Ta-da! And this area I haven't really worked on yet. Rito Slayer, thank you for the follow. Will the haggling mechanic be in Skyblivion? That's a good question, actually. A question that I don't really know the answer to at the moment. Was haggling a thing in Oblivion?
Thank you.
Southwest of the Imperial City, it's a fort just east of Skingrad.
Right, dudes. No need to waste your biddies on me. You can just ask in the chat, it's all good. Sorry about the frame rate, by the way. To quickly explain, and you have the creation kit running in the background, which is the tool we use to create these landscapes with. So the world is kind of being rendered twice, which is causing the lag. Can't really help it. My game is running at 60 FPS. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, so here we come nearer to the valley. This is the first, kind of like the start of the valley that we've created. I tried to make it look a bit unique, so that's why there's so few trees in the valley itself. Like the trees are to the side, and the valley itself consists more of bushes and shrubbery and grass. But at the same time, because of the gotta disable combat before they attack me. At the same time, by adding the rocks and the like, we do add a bit of depth to the area. Our bandit camp. Why is that bandit all the way over there?
Thank you.
Don't mind me. I am just here to clean the windows. So how is your day going? Meet any interesting people?
How the hell do you do that? Yo, that's ingenious. No one has ever done it before. Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh no! That I knew I forgot one plant. I knew there was one more floating bastard around here. Thanks for the biddies, friend. Meet any interesting people? Not lately, no. Spend most of my time at home, so not many people to meet. So here's the area we've just been working on. I think it looks pretty good. I think we can definitely get rid of a few trees over there. Maybe those as well, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, this is not bad, folks. Not bad at all. See if there's any bugs or floating bits we can find. Maliko, can you remind me what the name was? Pretty good. Hey! Flowers sitting on the ledge. Did you know you could do this with flowers? Flowers. Butterflies. Sorry, in Dutch they're called vlinders, and I just confused vlinders and flowers. Did you know you could do that with butterflies?
Thank you.
Vlasterus.
Okay, man. Thanks for the biddies. Yeah, this place is looking pretty sick. I'm digging it. I think we are gonna trim a few of the trees out, especially over there. And maybe these. Well, let me go back again. Hey, Carl. Yeah, so I think the idea of having the valley is great and looks very nice. Here's the difference, like the
Cheese for everyone.
Yo, Endercasts. Don't cut any more butterflies. I'm so sorry. It was just I just wanted to demonstrate my my Skyrim knowledge. Yo, thank you so much for 5 gifted subs, dudes. Can we get
Thank you.
what's the word? Cheese. In chat, yeah. Or Endercast. That's very kind. To Arwen, Basic, Lucy, Ocelot, Amorphous, and Kerbis. Cheers, dudes. Yeah, if you want to get some, you do mostly. I've seen you play Oblivion as well, though. I'm not sure. Can I say you're a variety streamer? Because you know you do the League castings, a lot of League playing as well. Yeah, I think it's a good. I love the view this way. Like this way, it looks great. I just think as soon as you go past these trees, like it obstructs the view, which is exactly what I didn't want for this area. So I think to stay true to my vision, I just need to get rid of the trees. It doesn't work otherwise. The whole idea was to not have trees in the valley, so you have this like very cool view. Turn off the HUD? No, how else am I gonna trigger people? I think I'm gonna keep that clump and then get rid of all that, trim this down. A bit of everything now? Alright, cool. Also thank you Scuba Duba very much for the 200 biddies. It's very kind of you as well. Turn it off? Fine. God. There you go. I'll share the screenshots in my Discord, okay? What's HUD? So HUD is the menu you have on the main screen. What does HUD stand for? I don't actually know. I was thinking about this today as well. For work, I had to write something up to do with HUDs. User design? User heads up display? So that was my second guess. Heads up display. Handsome, underestimated dickhead. Wow, you're a moderator and you use the naughty words. It's actually okay where we allow naughty words. We're not that anal. Which is also naughty words. Yeah, I'm digging the way this looks, but my favorite look and feel for this place has to be beyond that hill, like the other side. Well, this is also kind of perfect. To be fair, it's just that here I tried to compromise too much with the trees. I was doing exactly the opposite of what I wanted to do, and I think this is a good example of why compromises don't always work. Here it just kind of broke my whole idea for the area. Yeah, the grass is pretty sweet. It uses a different grass than the rest of the Colovian Highlands, which isn't the way I try to make it look a bit more unique.
Because the 78% of the hype train was bothering me, lol.
Yeah, how the fuck do you calculate that though then? Thanks Melakor for the 396 biddies. But yeah, I really like this part of the valley as well. I think this one turned out very nice. Oh dude, the volumetric lighting. So good! Wait, is it coming through the... I think it's coming through the mountain. Okay. Never mind that. Oh, now it's too high up. I think this looks very cool. And this is more like a narrow valley. It broadens up, it widens up. Down there. Oh, you actually did the math. Respect. Love the open feeling of the area. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to go for as well. So I'm glad that's paying off. Okay. I'm just gonna alt-tab for you, Melakor, because I forgot again. Vlastarus. Find location. Vlaz. Are you sure that's how you write it? I don't get any results. Is it a DLC thing? You made that fort? I'm not getting any results. Vl. Oh, because I don't have all the... I'm an idiot. Okay. Try that again. Lazarus. I hadn't discovered the location yet. Kill all. Is it the West World? Like the West World. There's your fort. Is that the Oblivion UI? No, this is the Skyblivion UI. We made something that's supposed to kind of look similar. You have the old version? Okay.
Thank you.
All this hype has made me so thirsty. Oh, goody. G Fuel. So tasty.
You have a whole list of this, don't you? I can feel it. Okay. I need to find out how you can make the text to speech do all that. Thank you for the 100 breedies again. See, even the robot made it sound better than what I did. Where am I? Oh Lord. Here is the floating flower. The fort finished inside?
You
I doubt
think
it.
that's funny?
What about this?
I mean, that definitely works, but you know, I appreciate the effort, but the whatever that was, not gonna lie, it was pretty good.
Master.
Ooh, Oblivion.
Oh, I didn't do it. God damn, that's a foxy looking adoring fan. So why does your LLL work?
My turn.
But the O's
My
don't.
sprinkler goes like this. Comes back like it.
It's good to know. I don't have a sprinkler, so thank you for the immersion. How else would I have known what a sprinkler would do?
You
Thank
think
you, technology.
That's funny?
My neighbor's dog is so mean. Every time I go outside it barks at me like
Gotcha. We're safe. May wake someone up at home from laughing. I think I've woken up my folks because, you know, I'm playing all this on speaker and it's kind of loud and my door is open. I have no idea what they think is happening up here, but just gonna let their imagination run wild. Is that enough trees taken out of the equation?
Water, drink, water, bitch.
Cheers! Thank you guys for all the
Thank you.
fun bits.
my Rofilcopter goes soy 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 soy.
Oh. It's a weird chopper. It's failed spectacularly. So what was it supposed to do then? think this has already cleared up the line of sight by quite a bit, so I think that should be better. Hopefully better is good enough. It's an internet classic. Man, I'm really missing everything today. I promise you guys I didn't dress for this stream, but coincidentally I'm wearing my Skyrim t-shirt and my Skyrim sweater. Maybe you can see the logo there, but I think it has Skyrim on the back as well.
Thank you.
How goes the knave meshing? And you'll by chance do the Priory of the Nine yet too?
How goes the nav meshing? Good. There's a bunch of people working on the remaster map at the moment. Seem to be going swimmingly. Fire of the Nine. Well, Knights of the Nine is not included in our initial release, I'm afraid. And I don't think Priory of the Nine is a vanilla location that was reused.
It just works.
It's not mistaken. Me, my copter.
You think that's
Yeah, I thought it was
funny?
beautiful.
Hi.
And you
Mackie TV, thank you for the follow. I gotta admit, Nico, this one was not your finest work. I think you set the bar too high for yourself, but that one, maybe it's a personal thing. I'm not sure what the chat thinks, but that one didn't do it for me. Maybe I should just get rid of these trees as well. What do you guys think? Should I get rid of those trees in the middle too? Or keep them? Is that a standing desk you have? Yeah, it is. Coming recently. How do you like it? Or a breakfast? What were all those noises last night? That's why I keep the door open. Okay, so here it is with no trees. Trees, no trees, trees, no trees. Let's pull it? Yeah, that's a good shout. If you guys have an opinion on this at all, there's a poll running right now. Do we keep the trees or chop them down? I'm gonna cast my own vote, but I'm not gonna tell you for which one because I don't want to sway the vote. So here we have it with trees, and here we have it without. Angle. Without trees, with trees. A lot of votes coming in. Last second votes. 1, 2, 3. Well, looks like we're gonna chop them down, boys. And a 1, a 2, huh! Delete. I think the trees are better to be tall in lower grounds because they tend to grow faster when they reach the sun. Definitely true. But sometimes for this project, I like to go against the rules of nature and use the rule of cool. But yeah, thanks for sharing your opinions. My vote was actually also to chop them down. I really like the valley being, you know, just being able to look from the starts all the way to the end. I think it's nice. So I agree with the outcome. What's the 86? Arwen, I saw your question earlier, and I was a bit confused because I didn't understand where you saw that number. But then I realized it's that one. 86 out of 100 means that we have 80... No, don't say sorry. It's 86 out of 100 subs. That's what it means.
It's you. Hi.
Iron Chef, thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, this is looking nice. Much better. I mean, we still have a few trees here and there. They're just very sparingly used.
Greetings!
Emerim, thank you for the follow as well. Yep, you are, Armin. Do you have any deep woods to get lost in? Oh, yes. There is an area close by, which I can actually show you really quickly, which is called the Great Forest, which is perfect for getting lost in. I don't want to touch a single thing though, because that's gonna cause dirty edits and crap. But hopefully it doesn't crash because I haven't saved in a while and I just refreshed and oh god, what have I done? Does anything happen at 100 subs? Nope. I do a little dance. But I just did it anyway, so I guess there really isn't anything that happens. The Great Forest is a lot more dense. And you can get lost in there, I'd say. Now I'm gonna go back to my little hidey hole. Why are they floating? We'll get to that later. Thanks for the save. Is it not too late for you? Yeah, that's a good shout. I was actually just gonna say, I think I'm gonna call it here because I just noticed it's 11:30. And I need to not have a shitty sleep schedule, which has been getting a bit shitty. But having that said, everyone, I think we did great together. I don't really want to go through the trouble of jumping in game again, but here, I'll just share the desktop. Here, this is what we just did. This was the fruits of our labor. So I'm very proud. we did nice. Having that said, yeah, thank you all very much for joining us today. It's been fun getting into the stream so much again lately. So appreciate you all stopping by. Thank you, Danny, for the follow.
Funny?
Good job, Rebelsies. Keep up the good work. It means a lot to us.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice, the kind words as well. It's my pleasure. Thank you all for showing up, for enjoying the chat, hanging out. It means a lot to me as well. So, even Steven. Having said that, I'm gonna end the stream for tonight. If you haven't yet, you can follow me on Discord, or you can join the Discord channel, to stay up to date with the streams and maybe share some screenshots of your game. I will be sharing that screenshot I showed earlier in the Discord there if you want to check it out later.
Master.
To see the highlights of
Thanks
our
for the
work
stream.
today.
It's so good to be back in chat. Take care, everyone.
My pleasure. It's good to have you back. Also, I have a Facebook and Twitter where you can follow me. I actually posted 2 super saucy memes today, which I think have done pretty well. One was for Skyblivion and the other one for Elder Scrolls 6. I'm just gonna look at the score now. 700 likes for the Skyblivion one, wow. And 700 for the Elder Scrolls 6.
You think
Saucy.
that's funny?
Let's see if I can fit this in before Kyle goes offline. So tasty.
It's good. Okay, I'm gonna run the credits. In the meantime, I'm gonna quickly look if there's anyone I can raid. But thanks everyone for for the laughs and for the support and the hangouts. Be cool. Thanks for stream. Yeah, my pleasure. My absolute fucking pleasure.
You're a perfect person for a guy like me, and your eyes are shiny like a don't see. I wish you could be mine for eternity. Could you please be mine? Hey,
Yeah, hopefully maybe tomorrow I can play some Witcher 1 again. Continue that playthrough because I've been enjoying it quite a lot, and you guys clearly know a lot more about the game than I do. So your help has been, well, very helpful. There's no one live from my stream team. Why am I never in the credits? You're not? No, you're not. Wow, these credits are fake news. They're rigged. That is actually quite weird. I'll look into that, I guess. See why that might be. I'm gonna look at that right now. Well, after stream. Let's see if there's a small streamer live with some Skyrims. Hey, I see someone else with a Skyrim sweater. Wait, is that the Skyrim sweater? No, it's not. Damn it.
About the moon and star, come to me through fire and war. Oh, oh, come Nerevar, come and look upon the heart, upon the heart. Oh, lay down your weapons. It is not too
Oh
late
man,
for
it's
my
always so
mercy.
hard to find someone to raid if no one you know is live.
Come and look upon the heart, upon the heart. Oh, 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 I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Nerevar. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god, god. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god.
Someone's doing the Elder Scrolls
About the
cookbook.
moon and star, come to me through fire and war. Oh, oh, come Nerevar, come and look upon the heart, upon the heart. Oh, lay down your weapons. It is not too late for my mercy. Oh, oh, come and look upon the heart, upon the heart. Oh, oh.
I'm gonna. I think I found someone.
Ah,
Longest raid ever. Yo, hey, thank you everyone so much for joining the stream today. It's appreciated. There's a ton of people you can watch on Twitch, so it means a lot that you are following and watching me. Having that said, I'm gonna take you to someone by the name of Moonlight, who is streaming Skyrim Anniversary Edition by the looks of it. So yeah, show her some kindness, good vibes. If you have the emotes, here's the raid message if you want to copy paste that or use your own. It's all good. I'm gonna go to bed. It's been a good day, very productive, but I'm beat. So thank you very much for your love and attention, support, and I'm gonna end it here. So as always, bye.
What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Nerevar.